The setup in this first room is familiar if you've ever played Valiant. That's right, this map is called 14 Angrier Archviles. Similar to 13 Angrier Archviles from that map. Frankly, it's not as good as 13 Angrier Archviles was. That was a really excellent map in my opinion, and this is pretty good. It's a good map, it's way better than the last one. This unnecessary run-up sequence is kind of annoying because, you know, it flashes the Archviles in, whatever. Like, there's a fairly small chance that they could initiate their action before moving, in which case you're kind of like out 80 health for no reason, and that kind of sucks. One thing I do really like here is that we're finally getting away from the sort of pseudo-naturalistic, texture set and scenery. Like, this spooky cathedral is much more my speed than what the WAD has looked like up until now. Also, this is our first look at the Pyro Demon, I guess. It's the replacement, I think, for the, well, I guess, I don't know what in the game's files it's replacing. But design-wise, it's very much a replacement for the Hell Knight. It has a similar appearance and, as far as I can tell, the same amount of health. But as you can see, it's got a more interesting attack. And two different variations. One, if it spreads out both its arms, it does that very fast flamethrower. Then it could also, do one fist at a time and send out like a shotgun flurry of deep imp fireballs. Pretty cool. It's a better enemy than the Hell Knight or Baron, honestly. Like most changes, I think, oh, this is either okay or for the worst, but whatever. But that one is like, oh, this is that could easily be an improvement, like just straight up. I wouldn't mind if that enemy showed up in other WADs. Although I wouldn't really appreciate super imps or a lot of this stuff showing up. Anyway, that was kind of a fun little Revenant encounter. I always like just mixing it up with Revenants. And I got kind of lucky that none of them were between the switch and the warp pin for the Archvile. So things have gone actually unusually well so far. Ordinarily, my next step at this point is to go across the main hall and head for the cave network on the other side. But I've got so much health, I'm thinking, oh, this is a good opportunity to do the worst part of the map, which is this room. I kind of like to do it after the cave because you get the rocket launcher in the cave, and the rocket launcher is a real asset here. But on the other hand, I wouldn't be liable to have this much of a stack, and having a big stack is a huge asset here. So you've got two Archviles on the ledge above. You've got a lot of these stupid imps up in your business. It's just really nasty. Like, it's tough to get shelter, and that was my own fault, right? But, and this one's my own fault too. I take the wrong route to the ledge. Really lucky that I haven't died, honestly. This was poorly done. Very poorly done. But I somehow make it. So, I mean, that's good. This was the hardest part of the map, and it's behind us now. So, it's a good shot at victory at this point. Although there's still plenty to do. I could have just left this one box of rockets. Probably should have, since rockets don't really wind up being in short supply in this map, depending on how you do it, and especially if I did this part without the rocket launcher. They're very much not in short supply, since I don't even have their launcher for most of the map. Not much to say about this part. And I hadn't ever noticed before that little target there, partially because I generally am at the other ledge first and not shooting across at those imps. And now I'm trying to figure out what that switch opened. It's not something that's accessible from here. It's accessible from the other side, so I sort of wander around and look at the map and look at walls and whatnot, and eventually conclude that I can't do anything about it right now. And no, I can't redo it. So it's just it's time to leave. So there's another ambush the first time you go back to the main hall, where demons come in behind you and a couple of Archviles get dropped into the area. There's different ways you can do it. I think the easiest is to rush down one of them with the plasma rifle, and then it becomes not a very problematic situation at this point. I can switch from the plasma rifle too. I mean, there's no need for the high DPS after there's just one Archvile and plenty of cover. So now it's time for the cave. The cave's got some interesting parts, but mostly it's pretty straightforward and honestly kind of dull with a lot of tanky enemies. It's not the most exciting part of the map, but it does have a couple good bits. I don't know why I decided to get that medikit instead of just those two by the central pillar. It seems kind of neurotic. So you get to stack yourself full up because this next encounter is pretty mean. It's one of those things where it's not that hard to survive when you know what it is, but the first time you hit it, it's liable just to kill you. So you get that guy up there, you get another guy wandering around in your space. I feel like when you're designing Archvile encounters, you should do all you can to make it very obvious, before it even starts to the player, where the Archviles are going to be. Because if they don't know, and they're suddenly, seeing the flame and casting about desperately trying to find the more than one Archvile that's doing it, it's like, well, you're going to be really lucky to get out of that without major damage. I mean, I think it's better if you have them frozen in space somehow, or obvious they're turned around until you do something. Something to let the player get an idea, so they can say, okay, this is what I'm going to have to do with very strict timing, yada yada. Because otherwise, it's just kind of unfair, I feel. Something that's easy the second time, almost guaranteed to kill you the first time, I think is bad design. But I mean, the second time, it is kind of a fun play. So whatever. And then this room is just kind of flat. There's a lot of cacos. There's going to be even more cacos later. I'm trying to get them to start infighting with the Arachnotron to save me a little bit of time, but I end up wasting even more time than I would have saved by, if I had just continually been shooting with the super shotgun, this would have been over quicker. So I should have just done that. You can, use more rushy tactics in this room. It's always tempting to when you're faced with 20 different cacodemons, and ammo constraints don't really give you the freedom to use anything with more DPS than the super shotgun. But it's it makes an easy encounter into a hard encounter. If you're confident you can do it without dying, then great. But if you're not, you'll be pretty mad when you die. So I just play it safe. This is a pretty playing it safe part. There's not a whole lot to say about it, really. This is sort of annoying. A bunch of guys drop in suddenly all around the periphery, more floaters, right? And you're kind of exposed up in the middle there. It's kind of obnoxious. You can drop down and get the teleporter, try to get the teleporter at the bottom of the ledge, but there's hurt floor down there, and it's really easy to get because it's on the edge of the pit. You can't see it. You'll never be able to see it. But it's in a perfect place to get body blocked by these infinitely tall flyers while you're trying to get to the teleporter, and that's really rage-inducing. So it's better just to carefully wind your way down the platform, like I did. This is a little bit of a tedious part. This isn't the highlight of the map. This is the opposite side, like that alcove there is where I hit the target. And this is the door it opened with that fire demon in there. I hadn't ever known about this little secret before. But that extra health is kind of nice. It would have, if I'd done the cave first, it would have set me up well for the nasty rising and falling pillar room. So there's 2 areas left that I haven't been to. One of them, if you go straight through this this complex here, you can do this weird little fight that involves rising and falling platforms and a weird teleport ambush, and it rewards you at the end with a megasphere. But I'm like, well, I don't need to do that. I have like a stack of over 300. I can just get the blue key and be done with this. So I do. It's not that interesting of a fight, so I don't really mind skipping it. This is kind of a cool encounter, but it's a little bit undertuned, I feel. Like it could have had just more enemies in it, more space pressure. It's pretty easy. Like already there's no danger of running out of space. Even if I were stuck just using the rocket launcher, I'd be in little danger. I take some unnecessary hits doing this, but like, I can afford it, man. 1% doomers. So if you're a hard of hearing gamer, you might just wait at the elevator and get killed. But if you're not, this is no problem. And that's it. That is the end of the map, essentially. Now that you have all 3 keys, you can just open the door to the exit and you're done. Pretty cool level. Like, no, not that way. Some exciting parts, some overall interesting parts, a couple of annoying parts. You know, I give it a B+, maybe a B.